Good morning and happy Tuesday. I've been seeing a lot of posts lately on social media. By the way, for those who don't know me, I'm Big Dog the General. And it's a lot of hurt people out here. And when you get down to the root and the cause of why people are hurt, you really don't understand it until you go through it yourself, you know. And one of the things that I've come to realize is once I found what I thought was love, that shit that takes you to another level, that shit that makes you not being able to breathe without a person, that shit that makes you not be able to live without a person, that shit where you can't stand for that person to be out of your life or be out of your sight for long periods of time, that kind of shit. When you go through that kind of shit and you depend on somebody to be able to take care and know your well-being and to do the right thing, you know, what I'm coming to find out is a lot of people do not know what loyalty is. A lot of people don't know how to be loyal to their mate. You know, a lot of people don't know how to not let people infiltrate their relationship, infiltrate their households, you know, infiltrate their way of thinking. And it's sad that you can be in a relationship where you love someone with all your heart. And we've all done it to a degree, you know. And I've been guilty of it in the past as well, but I've never allowed someone to come into my life or be in my circle and allow them to deter or manipulate how I think about my spouse. If I'm in a relationship with my spouse, I'm in that relationship. If we don't work out, it's because of what happens between us, not because of what any exterior elements happens or any exterior variables, because that shouldn't matter unless I've cheated or she's cheated or that person is cheated. Then I can understand that those things then do apply because that person has allowed people into y'all's circle, so therefore of course those things will happen. But for people to believe anything that comes out of other people's mouth because they say so and it makes it law is ridiculous. Like being in the LS, I've been in the LS, I'm retired now. I was in for the LS. For people who don't know what the LS is, that is the lifestyle, the swinger lifestyle, the BDSM lifestyle, you know, bondage, domination, sadist, masochistic. For those who are familiar, know exactly what I'm talking about. Because I am a dominant, I do currently have submissives, you know, and submissives are my property. You know, they are ladies who belong to me by contract. So if you're not familiar, I will make a video about that as well. But one of the things that I've come to find out is people no longer believe in other people's word, that they're supposed to be in relationships with. People no longer trust anybody, and I understand with this environment and the way things are today, I get it. I completely understand, why people feel that way. But it just amazes me how easy people are willing to just deter from the good shit that relationships have, or to stand firm on their foundation as to what it is that they're supposed to believe in. If I tell you I love you and I tell you you're the love of my life, I'm not just going to let anybody come in and tell me anything about you. If anything, I'm going to address them and tell them, hey, Why the fuck is you speaking ill on my folks? Or what proof you got that you know this about my folks? You know, and if it's something serious, I need proof. You can't just tell me anything about my mate. Nobody should be able to tell you anything about your mate without proof. If they're coming from a genuine place, and see the problem with most of these people out here who don't want to see you happy aren't coming from a genuine place. You feel what I'm saying? They're not coming from a genuine place at all. So that is the problem that a lot of people don't identify. Is some of these women out here when they be trying to get at you dudes and tell you dudes, oh yeah, your girl this, your girl that. Dude, they just want to fuck. They don't want to see you happy. They want to fuck. They don't give a shit about your relationship. They don't give a shit about your wife. They don't give a shit about your girl. They don't care nothing about your ass. They just want what the fuck they want. And the same thing applies to women. These niggas out here don't give a fuck about you. An acquisition. You're just another notch on the belt. You're just a conquest. Because us men love to make conquests. We love to have things that do not belong to us. As well as women. People love to have shit that they cannot have or that does not belong to them. Shit that they cannot have when they want it. So just because of that in itself, it makes it attractive because once they get you, they no longer put up the same energy. They no longer give you the same flow. They no longer give you what they gave you to get you. And it's happened to me several times. When I started in the LS, my friend at the time introduced me, because people always ask me, hey, Stan, how did you get into the LS? You know, where did you get Big Dog, the general name, from, and things of that nature? Well, I used to dance. Well, first, let me go back a little further. I used to do security, all through Washington, D.C., and also here in Maryland, and I've done, events like the National Decathlon, Triathlons, and BET Honors Awards, and wine festivals, and NSA conferences, and shit like that. So I've done security on, high levels, on red carpet shit. I used to work the red carpet for the BET Honors here in DC at the Warner Theater. And, so I've been, on the front line dealing with, superstars and stars and things of that nature because they need to be catered to and they have to be treated a particular way. And that was my job, to get folks cars and things of that nature. I've had to get people's cars like, Keisha Cole, Layla Hathaway, Neo, Taraji, things of that nature. So I'm used to dealing with people on a certain level. And when you start dealing with people who are on your level, or think that are on your level, you tend to give them a certain respect and you tend to give them a certain leeway. And when you start developing relationships, they tend to come in handy. So when I developed my relationship with my ex, who introduced me to the lifestyle, I was doing security. And then, of course, the women in the club, they wanted to see me dance. So I began dancing. I got in the gym, and I got real, toned and nice and everything. So I went and I started dancing. And the person, his name is Artist. A lot of people know him in the DMV area, up and down the coast. But Artist gave me my name, Dog. And it was originally supposed to be the Junkyard Dog, but I felt a little too WWF-ish with that, because there's only one Junkyard Dog, so, and I grew up in that era with Junkyard Dog and Andre the Giant and all that other shit, so I'm familiar who Junkyard Dog is. But I wanted something different, so I just stayed with Dog for that meantime. So anyway, when I met, funny story, I met my girlfriend at that time on adultfriendfinder.com. I gave him a little shameless plug. And we ended up exchanging information after talking to her for 2 years, randomly hitting her on adultfriendfinder.com. And she finally agreed to come out and meet me. So we ended up spending a lot of time together, fucking a lot, of course. You know how people do. And at that time, It was fresh for both of us. And she came to me one day and asked me, she was like, "So I want to let you know what it is that I'm into." And I was like, "Okay, I hope it ain't no fucked up shit. Because it was the way she came at me. So she didn't say it, well, are you familiar with the lifestyle? And I'm like, vaguely. And then she was like, well, swingers. And I was like, yeah, I'm familiar with that. I've been invited to a few swinger parties over the years, but I did security on Friday and Saturday nights in clubs and bars and shit. So I never had any time. I was too busy hustling. And one of the things that she said was, well, I want to take you around and introduce you to some people because I go to certain parties, like those parties, and I like to fuck. And I want to introduce you to people and take you around and show you who the people are and get you familiar because I want you to be familiar with it is with what I do. And I was like, okay, cool, fuck it. So in the process of her taking me around to show me all of that stuff, we began to build a connection, and nothing builds a connection like constant fucking and all that other shit, and constantly spending time with somebody. So things got intense, and at that time, she asked me straight up, she was like, hey, so we've been spending a lot of time together, and she was like, I'm not trying to change your flow. What do you think about us being in a relationship? Being that we spend so much time with each other anyway. I love that song. Ain't nothing like some Michelle, boy. Whew. So yeah, so at that point, I then agreed. Fuck it. I was single. I wasn't doing shit. I was messing with married women all the damn time. I've been messing with married women shit since I came home from prison in 2002. So, fuck it. I finally found a woman who wasn't married. Like, that's a whole nother conversation in itself, which is, what the book that I'm writing is about, what women will do, because women out here don't give a fuck. They don't care. Like I've noticed over the years, but that's a different topic for a different day. But from that point on, we begin to go out. You know, I got catered to a certain kind of way because of how I was built, how I looked, how my package was. So when I used to go to parties and because I danced, my lady at the time, she would then oil me up before a party and I would walk out, dressed down because when a party starts, there's certain stages to the party. There is the meet and greet stage of the party when you first get there, where you have drinks and refreshments and food and things of that nature. And then at that point you get to mingle with people, and then when it comes time about 11:30, 12 o'clock, there is a dress down period. And then from that dress down period where you change into your night attire, your lingerie, your nighties, your silk boxes or shorts. Me personally, I'm a basketball shorts person. They never liked us wearing basketball shorts, but I didn't give a fuck because I'm not a basketball short. I mean, I'm not a speedo, G-string thong wearing draws type of nigga. That ain't me. I'm from the street. I don't give a fuck about no goddamn thongs and no speedos and no shit. I ain't wearing no shit like that because that ain't me. So anyway, you know, there's that dress down period. And then in the dress down period, that is when, people are exposed. Everyone is exposed on the same level, which is created so that way there can be a like minded sediment and environment so that way everyone can feel comfortable. There's nothing like being exposed to people that you don't know that makes you comfortable at some time. You ever imagine yourself when people always talk about when giving speeches, and if you imagine yourself looking at the audience naked? Well, in this particular situation, the audience is naked all the time and you are naked with them. So it makes shit a little bit easier for you to dialogue with somebody if they're standing there with either their dick out, their titties out, and you're like, wow, okay, I don't feel so embarrassed. Because everybody has insecurities about their body. Nobody is perfect around here. I don't give a fuck how much muscle you have. I don't give a fuck how low your body fat count is, or your BMI and all other bullshit, body mass index. At the end of the day, everyone has some type of insecurity to a degree. you know. Like me personally, I wish my dick was longer, but it isn't. So I deal with it and keep it moving. Hasn't stopped me from getting any pussy at all. So I'm satisfied with my 8.5, 9 inches. You know what I'm saying? Fuck it, I can work with that. I get plenty of work done. But like I said, moving on, a lot of people, have insecurities or have moments in life where, you know, when they go out to these functions that they have these insecurities, and women come out and men come out, because men are just as insecure as women. Please don't let anybody tell you different, which is why you see niggas or men who go out here and they have wife beaters on when they get in the pool. I will never understand why men wear wife beaters and shirts in pool. Nigga, we can see how fat you are underneath it once you get out the water. You do know that, right? That the clothing sticks to you, which inevitably shows your shape a lot more and actually emphasizes your fat, your titties, and your roles as a man, if you have any. So that absolutely made no sense to me. What is it, hiding your nipples? You don't want your nipples exposed? So yeah, I just never understood that shit. So anyway, once you come in that environment and everybody's changed down, they normally have an area where you can dress down at and store your stuff and things in the facility, depending on whether you're in a house or in a hotel. If you're in a hotel, of course you would go in, and like my parties that I threw, on in a hotel, and in a house is different. In a house there's a room dedicated for you to take your clothes off and to store your stuff. In a hotel, you would normally store your stuff in a room, or your room, or the party room or playroom, wherever is designated for you to store your stuff. If you do not have a room, and at that point, you would then build and get a drink and build with other people and talk, or you would stay in your room. It's up to you. You know what I'm saying? Once the rules are read, house rules are read, whether you're in a hotel or in a house rules are read. Basically, the rules establishing the culture and the environment that you're in, so no one feels disrespected. No one gets, groped, grabbed, or, done anything to, and not being made aware of the rules of our society, because our society, like any other society, has rules. And therefore, you must follow those rules or your ass will be ejected. It's real simple. Keep your hands to yourself. Don't touch without asking. Respect each and every person's personal space. And of course, when you start to go out there and you start to build with people, you start to notice that people, yeah, don't know how to keep their hands to themselves. And men tend to generally not act like they know how to act, like they've never had pussy or seen ass before in their life. It is amazing to me how men act out here like they do not know what the hell, you know, like they have no experience in being around women. Like they act like newborn babies and shit, and they see titties and they gotta touch, and they see ass and they gotta touch. But anyway, so we got into that environment real good. And fortunately for me, I'm pretty good at fucking. I'm real good at fucking. And I got famous and I got popular in those circles. And unfortunately, she did not know how to take all the attention that I garnered. Because I didn't do it on purpose. You know, I did what I did because it was supposed to be done. You brought me to an environment where there's women who want to fuck, and they wanted to fuck me, and a lot of them did. And she got jealous, she got insecure, started throwing temper tantrums at the parties, and started following me around everywhere. Wouldn't let me play in peace. I wouldn't bother her while she was playing. When that's what it's called when you're engaging sexually, it's called playing. So and there's designated play areas, and then the person like me, I really don't give a fuck where we're at in the house. I'm gonna pull my dick out wherever. I pull my dick out outside. I'm an exhibitionist. I really don't give two shits where you see my penis at, to be honest with you. As long as it's being utilized by a female, I really don't care. And that's the way I've always been. I'm not shy by far. So things begin to become tumultuous, and we had to take a break from the lifestyle for a while. Um, at that point, that was the first point or first time where, also during that time, where I had a woman who was not able to be around me in the nights that she was not able to stay the night. Then She would then go back on Adult Friend Finder and she would find another woman for me to keep me company at nights that she wasn't there, which I thought was dope. I thought that was gangster shit. I'd never experienced no shit like that before. So shit, I was cool. And she would find some of the biggest booty motherfuckers in the world online, and it would be lovely. Like they would come over and we would have fun and we would do what we do until people started to feel a certain kind of way, which never made any sense to me because I never understood how you can invite somebody to our home, invite somebody to have sex with you, and then turn around and then get mad at that person because they're gravitating or they're actually liking the person that they're getting along with. And then of course at a certain time, after so many times of playing with that person and that person come over, you take the protection off and you start fucking raw. So, and then of course there's permission acts. Like I didn't just stuck my dick in the girl raw. Like I did have a conversation with my lady and I was like, look, man, she's around on a regular basis. I'm tired of being strapped for somebody that I'm fucking on a regular. And this young lady was older. She was in her mid 40s. And at the time I was in my early 30s. And yeah, so she wasn't one of those type of women who were out there, who were in the street. She was a professional woman, that worked for the government and shit that she bring to the table. So she brought her to the table, and then she got an attitude once, old girl got comfortable, and started throwing temper tantrums and started talking down on this young lady. And this young lady was like, "Hey, first of all, I'm not a number two chick. I volunteered to be a number two chick, but I am a number one chick, and you need to know that." And I'm not going to take a whole lot of mouth and a whole lot of shit from somebody who's not a number one chick, So things like that begin to arise, and that's when the loyalty came into question, because at that point, it was a situation where loyalty on my part was to say, hey, this obviously isn't going to work. And I had to decide whether or not I wanted to continue to be in a relationship like that or move on from that and continue to build with this older lady. And me being loyal, and because my lady at the time is also a Sagittarius just as I am, I chose to stay loyal to who it is I was in a relationship. I then found out that that was the wrong thing to do. But hey, I don't regret being loyal to who I was loyal to because I loved my ex and I wanted that relationship to work out. And unfortunately, it didn't. Um, as time went on, I started to see more shit that was going on. I started to see her giving her number to people online on Facebook who didn't know her, random dudes who were talking about coming down to play at parties and things of that nature that wanted to see them on one-on-one time. We had never established dating men on a one-on-one basis because that was not something that was a part of our relationship. So then I started to see different things going on with her attitude, and it's got to a point in a relationship where things just didn't go as they, were going as smooth as I thought they should go. I started to have to ask for her and beg her for time to come see me, to spend time with me. Money was being thrown at me left and right when I first started in this relationship with her, and I started to feel like I was basically a toy, or someone who was convenient because they felt like they were financing me in our relationship, where they didn't feel obligated to spend time anymore. And one thing I notice about people who, or women who like to spend money on men, once the money is gone, the attitudes tend to change. The loyalty changes along with the money. The interest changes because the money is gone. The money's no longer there. So their interest in you has changed because, first of all, it was never genuine, So, yeah. And I stayed loyal to that person for 3 years, up until the point where that person gave me hepatitis B and also stole over $200,000 from a credit union. So when I started finding these things out and I got sick, thank the Lord because of, Johns Hopkins Medical Center and things of that nature helped me get through it and get over it. So, I've been free and clear from hepatitis B since 2013, 2014. I got clear of it, so yeah, man. When that came into play and my health got jeopardized, fuck loyalty, fuck you, I'm out. And you lucky I don't kill your ass for giving me some shit, you know? So yeah, man, I know all about too well what it is to be loyal to somebody, and that's not the first time and that wasn't the last time that I was loyal to somebody that basically betrayed me and my trust. And of course, I was no fucking saint during that period. I did my dirt, so I'm not even gonna sit here and act like I was a fucking saint. I did little sneaky shit. I was out here fucking. I was out here fucking raw. I had chicks coming to my crib because I got tired of asking my lady to come see me and spend time with me, so I no longer asked. I am not a man to sit back and beg my woman to spend time with me. I am not a man to beg my woman to do what it is she's supposed to do. And therefore, once I feel as though you're not wanting to do those things that I've asked you to do on several occasions and I've had conversations with you, at that point I say, fuck you, and I do me and you follow accordingly. And that's that. So that's just me, you know? And as time has gone on, I've come to find out through other relationships that loyalty just does not exist anymore. It's crazy. And during that time, while we were dating, I also started my own swinger group called Doghouse. And Doghouse flourished, and and that was another thing that her and I were also, partners in. And the trust factor there started to deteriorate as well because there was some shady business dealings going on and things I wasn't aware of that were happening behind the scenes. And yeah, man, like loyalty is a terrible thing, man, to be loyal to the wrong person. That is the worst thing in the world, to be loyal to the wrong person, because they will eat you alive and they will not give a fuck. So when you start to see signs of people doing shit, you gotta pay attention to the red flags, people. Red flags are out there. People show you who they are. You have to pay attention. This is not a Where's Waldo situation. They do it right in front of you, and because you're lost in the sauce or you're so into them, you brush it off or disregard it as something that's not that serious. But in all factuality, they do it to take your temperature. Because once they take your temperature and see what it is that they can do and get away with, and if they get away with it once, they will try it again. And if they get away with it again, it will continue to become a regular thing and a continuous thing. And you will be in a situation where you sat back and be like, well, how the fuck did this happen? Because you allowed it. You saw the signs. You saw the random text messaging at night. You saw the disappearing hours where they weren't with you, and no communication during those hours when you knew damn well they weren't at work. You know, Random arguments that you don't know where the hell they came from, just so people could be ghost and disappear for hours at a time and act like they mad when they really wasn't. They just wanted to make a scene so they could go fuck somebody else or spend time with somebody else. You got to be able to pick up on those things, those caricatures that you see, those tail signs. Like when you play poker, people do tend to give you tail. Everybody has a tail. Everybody gives you signs. If you don't pay attention to the signs, it is your fault. Stop blaming people out here for you not paying attention to what the fuck it is that's done right in front of you. Stop ignoring the fucking signs. People are doing the shit right in front of you. So stop acting like you don't see that shit. Pay attention. They're there for a reason. People show you who they are. Trust me. Listen. Use both of your ears because you have two of those, which means you need to listen twice as much. You have two eyes. Observe twice as much. And close your mouth. Don't say anything. Observe and listen. You should be busy enough just with that alone to observe and listen. And people will show you who they are. Trust and believe in that. And with that being said, this is the end of this video for today, and we will talk later on. So y'all be easy. Have a great and awesome Tuesday. And I'll be back at y'all later on. Peace.